Welcome to the Reloading Podcast, Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Penny and 4patriots.com.
You have a reverberation in your microphone, Michael.
What do you mean?
You sound like Max Headroom.
Sweet.
You know, the stutter that Max always had?
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're doing sometimes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about Reloading Podcast 465. Not enough information.
There's not enough information. I can't tell you.
Okay. We'll just sit here and look cute, right, Ray? And Paul?
That's right.
What'd you do this week, Jim? What'd you do this week, Jim?
Give you a bunch of crap.
That's normal.
No, I didn't do anything. Actually, I did wear my Patriots patch hat. I really did. Wore the patch all week. It's just not the patch; it's just a sticker. But I wore it all week proudly. Somebody likes you already, Michael. Somebody by the name of Red Ton. Oh, it might be one of your. Oh, I know it is.
Yep. Very spotted.
That name would be Red Ton Island. Island, whatever.
So yeah, it's fun. I had Firefox, and it wasn't playing nice, and it wasn't playing nice, and it wasn't playing nice, and I wound up actually installing Opera, and
You're stuttering, reverberating.
Is that any better?
Mike. No.
Oh, no. Got it good. Max Headroom, here we come.
Yay.
That's all right. We can deal with it.
Excuse me. Anyway. So, yeah, that's fun. So, yeah, I wound up installing wow, it's that bad, huh? Well, you guys continue. I'm going to restart my entire damn computer. I'll be back.
Go ahead, Mike. We'll wait for you.
You just guys fill the air, talk about what you've been doing. So, Paul's got a lot to talk about.
Good.
Yeah, we've been going back
before
and
we
forth.
Turn you loose, Paul, if you don't mind, before we turn you loose, let me put Ray on, okay? Ray, what'd you do in the last couple weeks?
Let's try the Max Headroom thing.
I said, got back in town.
Oh, God.
Got back in town.
I can hear you. My computer's.
Sorry about that mess. Ray, what'd you do in the last couple weeks?
Let's see. I was on the road traveling with my father-in-law, just taking him on a nice 2-week out west tour. Then I stopped off at Nick's house in Kansas City, helped him get his new reloading bench put back together in his house. So it
looks good too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad. We worked hard on it, and that way he can start making some videos for our channel. He wants to start doing that again. We had a big haul. We hadn't got that done. Got back in town. I had to renew my concealed carry license, so I had to take the 3-hour renewal class, requalify, and that was fun. Did that and shot quite well. I was amazed because I don't shoot a lot of pistol. I really don't. I'm more of a rifle guy, and did quite well. Used my 43X. That's what I've been carrying here recently, and did well with it. And got my paperwork, got my application all uploaded, and just waiting on the state now.
There you go.
Yep. So
there you go. They still using that great big old B5 target?
Yeah, and if you can't qualify on that, because you got to shoot 70%. So out of the 30 rounds, you got to get roughly 20, 21 shots within all the scoring ring. So it's not hard. But there are people that shot outside. Everybody shot the 70%, but not everybody was a really tight group. And I was really quite impressed. We had 4 women in the class, ranging anywhere from late 20s up into their 50s, 60s. And all the women shot extremely well. They were well apt and knew what to do. And it was a good class.
And this was just a renewal class, right?
A renewal class, yes.
So that means some of them must have had practice.
Oh yeah, yeah. The gal sat in front of me was, I'd say, late 20s, early 30s, and she was on the ball. She had, her own nice headphones, nice gun bag, shot really well. Because I remember the first concealed carry class. There were a lot of timid people, and didn't lose a lot of shooting, but everybody was on the ball in this class.
Yeah.
I
remember my first concealed carry class, and the instructor looked at me when I carried a 1911, and he says, "Why you carry that?" And I says, "Because I learned how to use the safety."
Yeah.
Instead of a staple gun.
Yeah.
So
Staple gun don't need no stinking safety. Safety up here in the brain. Keep your booger hook off the bang switch. It won't be quite so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know, just natural second nature, first nature to me to
Absolutely.
to find the safety and get everything up where it's supposed to be and get that thumb up high and get the other thumb up high, and things work out well that way.
Don't want to get them up too high, depending upon your grip. You might wind up with a slide bite.
Yeah.
1911? Nah.
Just giving Paul a bunch of
Yeah.
guys. He knows that.
Yeah.
I own a 1911 and I own a G22, so I like them both.
Yeah, I got several 1911s, and my hands are small enough. It don't come up over that beaver tail, and I don't get slide bite.
Nice. Thank you, guys. They're going to like that.
Yep. Yeah, with Nick's move, we haven't put a video out in probably going on 6 months now. He moved out of town in March. So, but being he's got the reloading bench put back together, and he's getting hooked up with some really good Milsurp people out in the Kansas City areas. We're going to start getting some more videos out.
Friend of Mike's, Ken Brown's got a good point. Staple gun in 1911. If you don't practice, it doesn't matter what you run. Amen to that, brother.
Yep.
So how do I sound now?
Much
Much
Give
better.
us
better.
a 5 count, Mike. Give us the backwards 5 count.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Perfect.
I understood everything you didn't say. Good in the gesture.
You're welcome. That was more to my.
Here's what I love. This lady knows what she's talking about.
That was more my computer that I didn't. That was for.
Thank you, Miss Kitty. I really appreciate what you're saying. 1911 is a Kunan. The Kunan is 1911 frame, but it shoots the caliber 357 Magnum.
Paul Loud, I said sound, not look. Dork. Dumbass.
I didn't hear you. I didn't quite hear that, Mike. What was that you said about the guy in Maine?
Dumbass.
Oh, okay.
He heard me the first time,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
so he's not deaf. Just means you are.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
Ah,
No, I'll tell you straight. The only thing I had was computer problems this week. I actually had to change the battery in my mouse
oh
That's
my
terrible.
gosh.
after 5 years.
Oh.
terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What have you guys been up to?
Who, me, Ray? Or Mike?
Interviews.
Oh, well, I actually got to the range the other day. Not so good targets, but and I know I threw it, but one flyer there, and I know I pulled that one. Same with this one here. I know I pulled that one. So other than that, some testing for my 308. Nothing really good, but I've been I'm gonna have to retest some of it because just wasn't getting a good look at the target as I was pulling the trigger. I could sense some movement. So that was my weekend. So now I got to load up a whole bunch more junk. Yes, I need my dime back, Paul. Yeah, I gotta yeah, something that'll, I don't even think some of the dime will cover some of this stuff, Paul. I mean, look at that.
Oof.
Really?
That's tough.
Yeah. You know, definitely.
for you, Paul, 300 yards, right?
No, that's 100. That's 100 testing out some new bullets from Spear.
Ooh. You sure they
So-
weren't undersized?
No, no. They were right on. It was some of it was me, but yeah, I have to check to see about some new glasses maybe, and getting to be that time.
Well, to be quite honest and to be supportive of you, Paul, shooting well is a perishable skill,
Mm-hmm.
and that includes long gun.
Oh, I
So
know.
if it's, I know you've had some serious life-threatening health problems in the past year. If you've not been to the range for a while, you need to factor that into it as well.
Oh, I can shoot better than this. I know I can. It's just
Okay.
some
I'm
issues
not
that
saying you can't.
some
I'm
issues
just
that I'm
saying-
running into.
Right.
And if you notice that you're pulling off the target when you're pulling the trigger, that is some issue. So, yeah, that one didn't go where it was supposed to, and I know why. So, yeah, but more practice behind pulling the trigger. Yeah, that means more reloading too.
Absolutely.
It's always fun.
Yeah, all works together. So, how about you, Mike?
Just working. Pretty much. Didn't get out to the range at all. I did find a new 12 gauge that I'm going to be bringing home. Well, new to me anyway.
Ooh.
JC Higgins Model 60. Semi-auto.
Uh-huh.
And it comes with what they call the Choke Master.
Ooh.
It's a 7-position. Basically, it's their version of the poly choke with a compensator.
Oh, okay.
So it's gas gun. And then what I'm going to do is the chamber's 2 3/4, and looking at it, it's got enough meat to add that extra 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it's
So
got enough meat up there in the barrel end.
Yeah.
For to run a reamer in there and.
Yep. And the gas system's adjustable, so.
Oh, okay. So, and then you can backboard a little bit, so you get a little better out of it if it's got enough meat in there.
Yeah.
Backboring isn't that bad.
No. And the reason I got this idea is I was trying to find something the other day. I don't remember what it was. No idea. I don't remember what the heck it was, but all of a sudden I come across a video of Larry Potterfield. Larry Potterfield actually doing that exact thing on a side by side. With he had the barrels chucked up in a vise, and then he was just using a T handle or a tap handle
Mm-hmm.
and turning the reamer right in. So
Just be careful you don't go too long.
no,
If you're going to do it yourself.
nope. Hey, Ken. No, actually, Chokemaster is the bear's nickname. And I can say that because they're 0-2. Packers are at least 1-1. But actually, that's everybody from the NFC North's nickname last week because they all friggin' lost. But yeah. Anyway, so
you're gonna do it from you're gonna do a pull reamer on it with a long handle pull, or are you gonna try to do it from the back end?
back end. So I didn't find any pull reamers.
Oh,
What does Potterfield actually use to deepen that chamber?
a reamer.
What is it? Like a reamer?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
chamber reamer.
a
Chamber
chamber
length
reamer.
thinner. It's
Is it-
specifically for that purpose.
Okay, what I mean is it a spiral reamer or is it a straight reamer, like a chucking reamer?
It's a straight reamer.
flute.
Straight flutes.
Okay. Ground to the profile of the chamber.
Yeah.
Okay,
talking
I
about-
got that.
You talking about expanding the cone out for the flutes on
Well,
the
well,
shelf?
he's got to do both. He's got to come out with it straight for the chamber part of it, and then he's got to come out then for when as the petals open up on the shell. They have to have room there for it to go.
Yeah.
So it's it's a it's about a 1 inch long reamer is what it is by the time you take everything into consideration. And,
So he's doing this on a Parker.
mhm.
It looks like the Parker's actually 2 and whatever the one is just below 2 3/4.
2 and 5/8
Yeah.
or 2.5 inch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a straight reamer.
Yeah.
Are you doing that just to shoot modern shells?
Well, the gun is chambered for modern shells already.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's a semi-auto Model 60. He just wants to be able to shoot 3-inch shells out of it.
Oh, 3-inch. Okay. Because I've got an
So-
old 97 that probably needs to have that done. But I cut back and roll crimp, and I don't have to worry about lengthening that chamber and cone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that in a 97,
No.
But
Mike,
No.
question for you. On that Model 60, will the 3-inch shells function through the magazine?
I don't know. I haven't bought it yet to try it. So
Understood.
that's the reamer.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's a straight. So that's what gave me the idea. But that's all he does is he just literally uses that reamer and goes down.
mhm.
So I don't think he changes the forcing cone or anything.
So what you're saying is that the gentleman is using that reamer in an existing chamber. He's using the walls of the chamber as his guide to deepen it,
Correct.
to keep everything concentric.
Correct.
Thank you. Limited Gunsmithing 101. Wait a minute, I thought
Mhm.
this was a reloading show.
Well, it is. You know, you got to be able to lengthen it in order to get it to shoot the 3-inch. Now, will it eat them? Well, that's
I won't know until I get it home.
yeah.
And maybe it won't, and maybe it's a moot point, and away we go.
Right.
Well, we know it will not chamber the 3-inch round because it's 2 3/4 chamber.
Oh
But
no,
the
it'll
question-
chamber it.
Oh, it will?
You can stuff a 3-inch in a 2 3/4 inch chamber.
That's right, because you got opening for the pedals.
You can stuff it in there.
Yeah, as you
However,
said.
you can cause overpressure if you try and shoot it,
Yes, sir. I understood that. That goes without saying. I was just mostly concerned
and
about
your
digestion.
pattern's going to look horrible.
I understand.
Big stringy thing.
Yeah, your pattern will look just muck, and just absolute muck. It'll look like basically you grabbed a handful of shot and threw it at the target. Is basically how bad it'll be. So no, you can do it, but yeah, like I said, you definitely run the chance of overpressure, and then for
Yeah.
sure your pattern is just absolutely going to be garbage.
I would think it'd be destructive. It could be destructive to the gun.
Depending on what you're shooting through it. If it's just lead, no, because the lead will squish before it'll damage the barrel.
Paul out.
Unless-
A Dremel won't work on it because it's not long enough. You got to get one of those adapters to get it longer to get it in there.
Well, if you get those handles, you know, the cable.
Yeah.
I got one of those, so I could do that. You know, the
What's that?
little.
What's that action based off? Is that like an Auto 5 or?
Good question.
It's a lot like a
It
Remington.
was made by a
1100.
high standard.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
It's
I
a
don't-
gas gun, though, right?
Right.
So it's made like an 1100.
Probably. I just had the manual up. Give me a second here.
Because I don't think Higgins really made their own designs, did they?
Never. Higgins was just like basically Sears did away with the Higgins name and changed it into Ted Williams. So Higgins was just a guy that worked in Sears and Roebuck's warehouse back at like 1908.
Bought a Taurus 9mm revolver to plink with. The yoke screw keeps backing out. Any suggestions? Loctite?
Get a different egg.
Loctite?
Red Loctite.
Yeah.
Nobody got my joke.
Yeah, I know. We understand.
Yeah,
But
to
We
cl-
got your
clean
egg
the-
joke.
See,
clean
they
the
don't
thro-
make manuals like this anymore.
No.
Yeah, clean the threads with alcohol first, then use the red Loctite.
But yeah, they don't make manuals like this anymore.
No.
No.
Wow.
Purdy.
Yeah,
This
red
shows-
Loctite. You can you always put a little heat to it, and it will loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
So
This show's going to the dogs. Oh, Loudon, I agree on using red Loctite.
No.
Is that Taurus 9mm? Is that a new gun? If it's a new gun, send it back.
He said they sent
9mm revolver.
another screw.
9mm revolver.
Okay, yeah, send a replacement screw.
Yeah, it looks like an 1100 receiver, Paul.
yeah,
And it's got the gas operated power piston.
hmm
So
So you just have to see if it's going to chamber the round and go from there.
Yep.
Then you can go to what was it 4D reamers and order their reamer and rent it.
Who?
4D reamers, I believe it is.
Is it possible to rent a reamer for you? What you're going to do, Mike?
Yeah.
It'd be considerably cheaper than buying the reamer for a one-time deal.
Get you some thread cutting oil.
Yep.
4D reamers.
Found it.
Yeah.
Shotgun. Let's see here. Gauge long forcing cone. Headspace gauge set. Rental, not bad. That's not bad. It's $42 for the floating. It says floating pilot rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then if you want the Headspace gauges, it's $8.
yep.
And then if I want to get the long forcing cone, that's another $42.
Yep.
So it says the long forcing cone reamers will not have a rim cutter for headspace as they are designed to work with any length chamber. It is wise to buy a cylinder hone when doing long forcing cones to blend any marks left behind by the reamer. 40 offers these tools and replacement stones. I guess I'll have to see where that forcing cone's at first.
We got trouble on screen. There's Nick.
So, yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks promising. So,
Yeah.
The only issue I could see would be the ejection port, really. That would be the big issue because the ejection port is smaller. It's 2 3/4 ejection port, but we'll see.
Well, there are ways around that.
Yes, there is. So I don't know. I may do it. I may not. I don't know why I would. It's just one of those things because it's got the. So it's actually a 7 position poly choke. And it's kind of cool because it gives you the distances. So I don't know. I thought about ordering some 2 3/4 inch and then steel and going duck hunting, goose hunting with it with my buddy, but I haven't shot it yet. So basically just take it one up from full and away I go. But
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how the steel shot works in a improved cylinder.
I suppose. So no, I have 2 boxes of Federal steel over my shoulder. So we're gonna go goose hunting in October sometime. I'll just take my 870 out. I did find we have a 535 that came into Mossberg.
Oh,
with the slug barrel. $219.
cheap.
That's on hold.
That's on hold.
Because the nice thing about the 535 is it does have the 3.5 inch chamber. Not that I would buy any 3.5 inch chamber shells, but you know.
Okay.
Jim, you look bored.
Y'all know I'm not a scattergunner.
You should be. It's fun. So Anyway, but one of my Jim, a buddy of mine might actually be building a 284 Ackley
Yeah.
284 or 280?
or 280.
280 Remington Ackley improved.
Yep. I don't know why I always call it. Oh, I know I call it a 284 because Jim says that every once in a while because that's the diameter of the projectile. Oh.
I know what a 280 Remington stands for.
Anyway,
Yeah. Keep me posted on your buddy.
9mm Steyr brass. Yeah, because that's a very common cartridge. What did he buy now?
I think he bought an old Steyr-Hahn pistol, I think.
Mm,
You know, Nick, he likes the weird, strange, and unusual.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's weird, strange, and unusual.
So
Straight-
the shades of pink he fades to when candy gets mentioned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I know Ken Brown on here is lurking around here somewhere. He is actually going to get started reloading in 9mm. So if anybody has any 9mm brass and want to send him some, please do,
I might. I'll have to take a look and see.
because he actually went out and bought a Frankfurt Arsenal X10. So
Yeah, that's right. He did. So he'll have to come on and do a review of it.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm still debating on whether I want to sell my 650 and get a suppressor.
oh,
I don't know.
I can see the suppressor. I'm sorry, and as much as you've had the 650 up and running, you're better off with the 550.
Yeah, I mean, the 650 is nice, but I only have the one set of shell. I only have the one shell plate for it, and conversion kits are $150 now. That's way the hell out of my
Yep.
price range. I can buy 3 550 conversion kits for that price, and I'm not shooting enough to really make it to really justify using the 650. So that's kind of what I'm debating at the current moment.
Well, he's sitting there looking at shooting 10,000 plus rounds a year.
Yeah, he's going
So-
into.
So that's because that's
He's going to start doing some more competitions.
right. And if he bought the match ammo that he's been buying, that's
He-
somewhere around
Yeah.
$4,000 a year in ammo, which is reloading. He can cut it in half,
Easily,
and
and probably even less than that.
right, and pay for the press at the same time. So, and then
Oh,
we
Ben
have
Randy.
we have another problem child here,
Yes, we do.
bench addict.
Why have a 284 when you can shoot a 300 Win Mag?
Yeah,
It's not a 284. We discussed this. It's a 280 Remington Ackley improved with
yeah.
a 284 diameter. So
Well,
There's a 284 Winchester.
yes,
Yeah.
there is.
Yep.
Speaking of needing things, I need some 123 grain projectiles.
For what?
SKS.
Mustache.
7.62 by 39. I now have 150
Three-
pieces of brass that I need to load up.
312 or 323. Which one is it?
7.62 by 39, I believe, is 311
311.
for
312.
FMNJs.
Yeah. Okay. And Bed Chaddock, you put over the weekend, you put, about 200 rounds downrange in your first F class match, which you did well in, shot
Right.
expert. And now he's questioning his whole loading. So his SDs were too high according to the target chronograph, and
Yeah, but
So-
what'd the target say?
Target says he shot expert. Okay. I mean, you know, he went from a low of 184 and he shot a high of 197. Nothing bad with that. You know, first time shooting,
Yep.
you know. But he is now questioning because of the target chronograph 1,000 yards away. And all it does is listen for the bullet crack to give you a velocity. It's not actually measuring the velocity. It just listens for that supersonic crack. And yeah, he's questioning his SDs and ESs.
So, have we gotten to the point in reloading where the target doesn't matter anymore? Is that the case?
No, target's the one that matters.
That's the only one that matters.
Yeah, believe the target, right? You got to believe what the target tells you. You know,
SDs may be wide all over the place, but if you're punching a one hole group with 5 shots, mind your target.
it's hard to do at 1,000 yards with real high SDs, but the consequences is what is harder to do at 1,000 yards? Read the wind, or load or hand load ammunition.
Read the wind.
Read the wind.
Especially if you don't have any indicators.
Well, even if you
Yeah.
got flags, I mean, it doesn't. You know, if you don't know where the left flag is blowing, 60 degrees, and the right flag is blowing 45 degrees, you don't know what where is it between that, right?
Well,
On
especially
your
firing,
phone.
I have no idea what the hell you just said.
Tell you what, Paul, we recently found my White Buffalo t-shirt from the Whittington Center, NRA Whittington Center, 2013. I remember shooting that damn White Buffalo. That wind is just pure black magic.
That's right. That's right.
I did hit steel both days. I burned a lot of ammo getting there.
So that's the kicker, is learning to read the wind. It's the
Yep.
hardest thing in the world to do.
Yep.
There are people that have spent years shooting and are just getting out there to learn to read the wind. But the more you shoot, the better you'll get at reading the wind.
You bet.
As long as you're applying what you see to where your bullet goes.
I did do something over the weekend about shooting. A friend of mine, Thomas Hogland, on YouTube, he put up a little tutorial about how he uses his Kestrel. He has a certain kind of Kestrel that can read barometric atmospheric pressure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up the good point of the fact that the higher the barometric pressure is in weather and long distance, the slower your bullet's going to travel. The more your bullet's going to drop.
Yep.
I mean, he and I got into a very friendly little discussion about that. Just basically me and him thanking each other for the comments and all that. But, he's got a point. Barometric pressure has a distinct effect.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet impact at long range. At 100 yards, 200, maybe 300 yards, probably not much. You get out there 6, 7, 8, 10, yeah.
Yeah, you have lots of difference in what happens, especially what happens in your cartridge too. Barometric pressure affects your what's going to happen inside your chamber. The same as the heat of how hot the rounds are or whatever, as far as leaving them out in the sun or whatever happens.
Daniel Atkins just put up a very good comment. Get a weather flow meter and carry it with you. Randomly guess and pull out the meter and check. I've gotten pretty good at doing it that way. That's actually not a bad idea. Just practice reading the weather according to the atmospheric pressure. Yeah, we're talking about the pressure that you difference between you walking inside your house and walking outside on your front porch. That's a good comment, Daniel. Thank you. And Ben Juddick is exactly on the ball when he adds a comment about opposing directions on the flag. Got 600 from the west, 800 from the east, 900 from the northwest, and God only knows what's coming out at the target.
And then you got at the target, you got that mirage that boils up and kind of moves the target up 6 inches higher.
You got it. You got it.
So when it moves 6 inches higher, you aim for that 6 inches higher. You pull the trigger and the bullet goes 6 inches higher. You wonder how that happened.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. Lee 762 by 39 sizing die.
Mhm.
Okay.
A 308 bullet will not fit in the case. Theoretically, if it's sizing it to the correct diameter, 308 bullet should drop right through.
Get your calipers out and check to see what the inside diameter is.
If you're saying it's a 312 bullet, what's 4 thousandths restriction?
308.
Oh, so it's creating that much neck tension.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mike, do you have to have a 124 grain bullet?
No.
Because Graf's has got 311, 150 grain for looks like anywhere from 1899 to 1929 for 50.
Okay. I'll have to find load data for it. Oh, there we go. Turn the page, dumbass. Do I have any powder? That's the next question. Oh my gosh. No way. 150 grain bullet out of an SKS that says it uses IMR 4227. And I have a pound of that.
There you go.
There you go.
14 and a half grains. Ooh.
Yeah, it's cheap to load.
Yeah, it will be. So, and then right next door is my 30-30. Whee.
Yep.
So, but yeah. Yeah, what I eventually want to do is see if I can get an SKS to shoot MOA.
Good luck with that. Lots of good luck with that. You're tickling Ray's funny bone.
It's theoretically possible. So,
Anything's theoretically possible. As the scientists have proved, pigs can fly.
only when launched out of cannons.
Oh no. Nick is almost home.
Oh, good grief. Where the
Yep.
heck are my Redding 30-30 dies? I don't know where my 30-30 dies are.
Hello, Pan Jockey.
Crikey. I gotta organize this better. Anybody want to come over and help me organize my reloading room? Oh wow, another Lee load all kit. Funny.
Do we, Paul Loud? You doing one-shot groups?
Yeah.
Yes, we do one-shot groups, and we have a patch now for you trap shooters out there for one straight.
I've shot trap a couple times. Even I hit a bird or two once in a while.
Oh, he
No,
said
we get-
patch.
A patch for one straight.
Right. I got it. I got it the
Okay.
first time, Paul. I got it the
Okay.
first time.
I don't know if I'd want to shoot patch bullets. That's too much work. You chuckle.
Now you're getting in the Ray's area of expertise.
Ray, you patch bullets?
I played with it. Really haven't done a whole lot.
Yeah.
Nick's got it's either the Snyder or the Martini he wants to start playing with paper patch bullets.
We look like former Army corporals. So, look at that package.
Oh, wow. Redding Hunter, not just Redding.
And then check out the price.
$10.89. Wow.
Yep. Garage sale find. I got this along with 30-06 and a 303 set of dies for $20. So it's Goose Baby. It's called that the camera flips the image. So that's why it's not actually up the wrong way, but it's behind him and the camera's flipping the image.
Exactly, because this is my right hand, even though it's on my left side on screen.
So, but we're starting to get a couple more people on Twitch. That's kind of cool. So the question for the evening came in by email, and it is the reason for the show title. Yeah, definitely people have put up the American flag wrong, whether they're putting it on the wall or hanging it. Definitely goes backwards.
But that is how the military displays it like that now, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
Supposed to show motion.
Right.
Yep.
If it's worn on the right arm, it's backwards.
Yep. Because the Stars and Stripes, the Stars field is leading the charge. So.
But that goes against everything I ever learned in civics class.
Yes. So.
All right, back to your question.
Anyway. Hey, Paulie wants to go golfing with you. Do you golf?
Nope.
The only thing I do with golf balls anymore is shoot them. So
I drive a mean golf cart though.
Oh yeah. So
hey Mo, how can we go out and shoot any golf? We ain't got no guns. Right?
So, exactly. Great entertainment. Does anybody know who that's that from? Jim? Hey Mo. This should be
As in the Three Stooges?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a wild guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Ecline 380 sent us an email. Hello, thank you for making the podcast. It's great. Boy, we got him buffaloed, or she, as the case may be. I have a question as to what would cause scraped primers after firing my reloads of my revolver. Is it as simple as the primers not being seated deep enough, or could this be a sign of overpressured loads? Thank you for all you do. So I sent back an email. Do you have any photos of these by chance? If so, maybe we can cover it tomorrow night. Also need to know the firearm, what cartridge, and which brand and type of primers, and what powder and bullet, please. So, unfortunately, I sent that to him a week ago. He or she hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I figured we'd cover it. Let people know that when you're going to send us emails, it's important to give us a revolver is great information, but I mean, it could be a 38, it could be a 357, it could be a 44, it could be a 41, it could be a 460, a 500, and there's a few other ones that I'm missing. So, Nick, you're noisy. So, and how are the primers being scraped is the other question.
Yeah, I'd like to know how the primers are being scraped.
If I'm assuming, which is always dangerous, but if I'm assuming, I would say that they're probably either not seated deep enough, or it's overpressure and the primers are getting backed out and they're getting scraped that way. That's my immediate thought.
Okay.
Yeah, because on a revolver, your back wall is your abutment.
Yeah,
So if
and
they're
you
staying-
can, and unless it's locked up as the firing spot, there's usually space that you could back a primer out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, if you're backing a primer out, and usually what happens then the case follows behind it and it flattens the primer
Right.
completely.
Yeah.
And then the gun can either it locks up because the primer is flown into the firing pin hole, or it doesn't lock up and it goes around.
Yeah.
So as we're sitting there looking at it and saying he is scraping a primer, does he have a rough spot on the recoil shield?
That's the other possibility. And that's kind of when I wanted to see photos of the primer, because that would give us a better idea.
Yeah, I wonder if just working the action and not firing it still scrapes the primers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Right.
That would go along with Paul's theory about rust spot on the recoil shield.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now, see, I would show you all what we're talking about, but unfortunately, YouTube and its
Won't let
infinite
us.
wisdom of being an overlord frowns on us showing off firearms. So,
Mhm.
and I don't have a non-functioning disassembled revolver to show you currently. So, but what I can do is I can grab a piece of brass. And so what we're saying is, as it's moving around and rotating in the cylinder, could be an obstruction on the back panel and it's catching and scraping. So the other option is the primer is actually sticking out beyond flush and it's catching. So those are kind of the two main possibilities of this without knowing more details. But
If the primer's flow, and this is hard to do, I know, but if the primer flows into the firing pin hole, you could get some scraping there. But I mean,
that also
that's-
depends on what type of revolver it is.
yeah,
Because depending on what type of revolver it is, it may not actually have a true hole. The hammer may stick out far enough that.
hmm
So
and if it's hammer fired, and I mean not hammer fired, but if the hammer has a firing pin on it,
correct.
there should be, when he lets go of the trigger to cycle it in double action or pull the hammer back on in single action, it should take the firing pin away from the
Immediately.
the cylinder, or he's got a busted spring in his frame mounted firing pin
Mm-hmm.
and it's dragging.
Yeah. Either he's got a hammer mounted firing pin and it's dragging. The whole hammer's dragging, or the frame mounted firing pin isn't well, either way, the hammer's possibly dragging and it's not allowing the firing pin to recess, or it's actually a hammer mounted firing pin and it's not recessing. So Paul Loud said typically you'll have a no fire if primer not seated deep enough.
Yep.
Not always.
Could get a hang fire too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking, what would you guys say? Like, say on a 686, or your typical Smith revolver, you've probably got maybe
You-
20 thousandths
Yeah, but
there.
you got two different things here. You got to remember the old style and the new style. The
Right.
old style had the fixed firing pin
Yeah.
on the hammer.
Yep.
Okay, but so as soon as you let go of the trigger, that hammer bound back.
Yep.
Okay. So there's a rebound part of in the action.
Mm-hmm.
In a new one, it's got a lever that comes up into it to allow it to hit the firing pin that's
Yeah.
frame mounted. Okay. And again, as soon as you let go of the trigger, that lever comes down so you can start cycling the action again.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a spring in the in the frame mounted firing pin that is broken and would allow the firing pin to drag on the primer. Okay, without the it's just stuck. It just comes around.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
Yep. I would think that either way, it's more likely if it's scraping for not being seated deep enough, it's scraping on the back.
On the recoil shield. Yeah.
Yeah. Not on the hammer. I mean, most of your quality firearms, you've probably got 20 thousandths between the back of the cylinder and the recoil shield anyway. Not a lot of space. So it
Mhm.
wouldn't take a lot. You could have your primer seated slightly too shallow and still have it go off. So,
Especially if it hits it hard enough. Yes.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah, I'm like you, Mike. Make some dummy rounds up and take your feeler gauges and see if something's sticking out and dragging.
Yep. Yep.
easy. So you open it up and you look to sit there and see if there's something that's affecting it. I mean, that's all. You swing the cylinder out, and if it is a swing type cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know. He says it's a revolver, and that's all we know.
Could be a
I mean,
Blackhawk.
Right? Single action, and he's got to take the actual cylinder out and look at it and go from there.
Yeah.
But here's a question: is it only happening on the round that's been fired?
That's the other question.
Could there be a burr on the abutment wall scraping the other rounds?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different possibilities without knowing. And this is kind of why we're covering this, is to show everybody that if you're going to send us emails, give us as much information as you can. So, but Jim, what's your thoughts? You've done a lot of,
I think it's a good title for the show.
so now you
I truly
understand it.
do. Yep.
Yeah. See, now you
Appreciate
understand
that
the title.
explanation. And by the
So-
way, I totally concur with the possibility of the scrape by the firing pin, broken firing pin, and what Paul said was about the frame mounted pin as opposed to the hammer mounted pin. There's all kinds of different scenarios, and we can't pin it down without more
No.
information.
Nope. No, we definitely
Yeah,
can't.
Paul and I know a good bit about machining, but we just can't make scientific wild ass guesses.
Mm. Right. So. eh. Rats. No magnets. So. Anyway. Hey, Nick, check out the box I got.
What did we get? Oh yeah, the steel case stuff. Yep.
It's not all steel case though. It's got some brass in here too. So unknown reloads. So I'm gonna pull them and reload them.
There you go.
But more 45 to shoot. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with the box. That's what I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. So, Nick, what you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Work's been just insane the last week and a half. They moved me to a new department and heck of a lot more work.
Hey, that's what happens when you do good on your job. You get other people's jobs to do.
Exactly. But other than that, picked up one new gun since Labor Day. Picked up a Swiss 1889. So
Nice.
ordered some 7.5 Swiss brass.
Nice.
Buddy and I went in together on them. He got one, I got one. So I'm gonna load up some of the 7.5 by 53.5 GP90 for him. So, yep, brass came in this morning today from Powder Valley, which is just super quick. How quick it got here. I think I ordered it Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it went out yesterday afternoon and was here today, which doesn't shock me. It's coming from South Central Kansas. So, but other than that, like I said earlier, looking for 9mm Steyr brass. I have a gun on layaway at a local FFL friend of mine. So there's no way to convert it that I can find yet. It's very similar to a 9mm Largo or 38 Super. It's your find a non-rimmed pistol case is impossible on my bench right now, but Prince. Okay, well we'll just use this. The channel for the extractor group is bigger, so which is a little different. But Starline makes it, but they're out of stock right now. It's a to be determined restock date, so that's kind of where we're at with that. I have a box. I'm gonna be getting a box of 50 original rounds with it. I just don't know if they're reloadable off the top of my head, so until I fire them, I won't know. So, but other than that, that's bench is finished. I'm sitting at it right now. It's just too dirty to show, or I'd show you. Hopefully by next week it'll be cleaned up and everything. So I still got all my brass components, everything still scattered about the floor here, trying to get organized. And it's painted. I know you guys saw it, and I posted on Discord. The color turned out really good. So, yeah.
Nice.
I got to figure out what I'm going to do for shows when I'm down here. The air conditioner is right behind me, and it can just kick on whenever it wants. So I turned it off for tonight, but I got to figure out a new method, microphone method, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Or just one of those things. I just turn it off each time.
You gotta make videos for our channel when you reload that Swiss.
Yeah, I will. That's the plan. So it's a super easy cartridge to load for because you just take for instance, here, we'll use this. You just take your standard case, 7.5 Swiss, trim it down anywhere from about a 0.5 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters, prime it, powder, a standard 308 bullet. You're done.
Sweet.
Just reduce charged. Probably about a 30-40 Craig starting load is what I'll be doing. So.
All right, Mike, I got you a non-functioning firearm here.
Nice.
Okay. So we are talking about right here where the firing pin is coming through and that face of the recoil shield right here. And as I pull back and let go, this is a frame mounted. We have the protrusion of the firing pin. And I let go and the firing pin immediately retracts. As I pull back, we see that there is a bar that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it up a little higher, Paul. Thank you, sir.
And
Yeah,
see that
the
bar
rotor
that comes up right there?
Yep, the
Right.
Ruger transfer bar.
See, as I come up and hold the trigger back, it stays there. But as soon as I pull the trigger and let go, it falls down so it won't fire. And if that firing pin spring is broken in there, that you will have a problem with the drag on the case and
Mhm.
on the primer. If it was a frame mounted firing pin would would protrude, but as soon as you let off, the hammer would come back slightly, and
Hammer mounted.
that's a hammer mounted
Yeah.
and that's what would happen. So sorry it took me some time to remember where I'd stuck this one.
Not a problem. Thank you for grabbing it. So,
Beautiful gun.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
So Paul Loud said, doubt this is the case. Not sure if he has checked the primers before placing in the gun, but perhaps his primer seating tool has a burr that is scratching primer as he's seating them. So it's definitely a possibility. So
Yeah, if he even got a piece of powder in the priming cup,
mhm.
it could affect it.
Yep, most definitely.
So there's a number of reasons why this could happen, and the main thing is to check. That's all. Take move the cylinder out of the way, take a look, and see what's happening to the gun.
Yep.
Or take it to a gunsmith if you don't understand it, because you shouldn't see any marks on the primer when you're advancing the case.
Especially if they not see anything on the brass itself. If it's just on the
Yeah.
primer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting issue with that. So all right. Well, that's kind of all I wanted to cover tonight. So
Okay.
anybody else got anything they want to talk about?
No, pretty good here.
Did everybody get the email from SHOT Show?
About range day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know who all was planning on going this year. Or...
Yes, indeed.
Nick, are you planning on going for sure?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll probably at least reserve the room like we have in the past, and we can adjust depending who's all going.
I'm planning on going. Sharonda's planning on going.
Okay.
I think Chris also said he's planning on going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, now that I'm not taking Friday off, I have an extra day there. So hey.
Yay.
I was gonna be taking Thursday afternoon and Friday off for a reenactment this weekend. It's one of our bigger ones, but the good old rain's gonna cancel that one.
Yeah. That kind of sucks.
Pan jockey, if you can find me one for $100, I'll buy it. But anything over $100, I ain't paying. I can't see people paying $400, $500 for those things.
No.
They're not rare.
No, they made, I think, 4 million of them. Okay, the only time I will spend money on one is if it's a early Imperial marked one, a Russian Imperial Russian marked, where it's before Soviet
Right.
block. I will spend I'd spend the $500 on that one, but a Soviet block, Com block one,
Nope, not worth it.
no.
Guess that vodka didn't stir up like I wanted it to. Oof. Anyway,
And at this point, like my dad told me the other day, I need to start saving to put the door on that opening right there.
yeah.
So
Is that the gun safe?
that's the gun safe. That's the vault. So
Nice.
How come they want so much for a door as they do for a safe? Have you ever figured that out?
I have always wondered that. The door I'm looking is gonna be about what we say that 800-900.
Yeah.
So
That's not bad.
yeah, and it's not a
that's
vault door.
Oh,
It's a more of a high-end security door. It's got the 9-bolt locking method. It's a regular steel door. But it's not like your
it's not
vault.
a safe door. It's not
Correct.
a safe vault
Correct.
door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I always wondered on a vault. Okay.
Yeah, I've always wondered that too.
They want $3,000 for a door.
Yeah.
And they want $3,000 for the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I've seen guys that have done rooms like that. They've found safes on auctions, big safes on auctions, and gotten them relatively cheap. And they've taken them to metal shops and they've cut them out just the door.
Yeah.
Which, hey, if you can get the safe cheap enough, absolutely. But I don't want to just waste money on a safe and then just take the door. So that's why we're going to do that.
If you've got a shop, there's plans out there how to make the door, how to install the lock.
Yeah.
For a third of the cost, but not everybody's got, flow jet cutters and everything else.
Right.
Most of the time for a safe, I mean, other than, a real high end, security safe that's got, glass and everything else in it, a good 7-inch angle grinder will take care of what you need to take out of the safe.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking you're taking the edges out of the door. Okay. And then you're going to insert that into you take it to a metal shop and you have them insert for the width of your door or cut what you have so it fits in, and then they can bolt and glue it all into your opening. So yeah, you can go to an auction, pick up a safe that, as long as it's got numbers on it, that fits what you want, you're good to go.
Ray, you got a point about saving half the price of a vault door, but you got to remember too, you got to have the skill to hang that door.
That's true.
That craftsman or the technician, he's been doing it for a while and he deserves that pay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whereas you and I might struggle for a week before, and then we'll end up to the crooked door.
Yeah. Fortunately, that's already framed in with 2x6s, so it'll be easier to mount. And the eventual plan is to finish this completely out, and it'll be kind of hidden. So we're gonna do a bookshelf that folds out, and you won't even know it's there.
Nick, you're giving away all the secrets.
Hey, you come to my house and you come in, you done. Hey. You got to find me first. That's the fun part.
There you go.
That's not
There you go.
yet.
Pan Jockey's got a place where you can get a door.
Funny. That's why this one will get sold eventually, because it's a digital safe. So
Just change the.
Go to Sergeant. I get a Sergeant. What is it?
Sergeant and Green.
yeah,
Sergeant
the keypad.
Green, and get rid of the keypad and go with a dial.
Yeah.
That's
That's
well, I've got one behind. Both of the ones behind me are Liberties. One was made for Gander. One was made for Cabela's. The Gander one's a dial, so I'm not worried about that. But the Cabela's one's a push button, so I'll get a Sergeant and Green, but I'll get another push button for it. So
Mm-hmm.
at some point in time. But
No, I'm excited to finally get back reloading. So that's
yay!
hopefully this. I might do it this weekend. I might try to get some brass prep knocked out, and so being I'm not going anywhere. I might have to help my sister move into her house a little bit, but I was technically not supposed to be here this weekend, so I'm having my own weekend.
There you go.
I'm bringing more stuff over too. So
All right, sounds good. I can have all my primers and powder now. Oh, also, I did pick up primers, powder, and bullets as well at Shields. Shields had on their last ad 15% off
Ah, there you go.
components. So I was like, I think it knocked large rifle primers. They were the CCI 34s. What was it? $70 bucks a thousand
something like that.
Okay,
Which-
that's not bad.
for large rifle. I can't.
Yeah.
You can't find them anywhere else for that.
No, that's a pretty good deal.
So I think small rifle. I think we're down to about $60 with the discount. And so I got some IMR 3031 and 4095. I think the 4095 was a little more. I think it was about $38 a pound, and then the 3031, I think was right at $30 a pound. So, which just doesn't hurt. Those are two powders you can't live without. So
Yeah, after the discount, it brought the large rifle down to $76.49 and the small rifle down to $59.49.
yeah,
Wow, that's a good price on the small rifle.
that's why I'm like there, and I overheard some guy talking. He's like 15% off components. I'm like, wait, what?
And you said they had a bunch, right?
They had probably, especially the large rifle, they probably had, oh gosh, probably 100 bricks, easy.
Wow.
And that's the one here locally to me. So unfortunately, it's like a 45-minute drive from my house. So I can't go every day. But the last couple times I've been there, they've had a really good stock of primers, powder, bullets. So
Do they do mail order on primers?
No.
I don't know.
No.
No, not that I can think of. Just come out and visit me, Paul. Mike might be doing it anyway, so
Uh,
Well, we talked about that prairie dog shoot.
yeah.
yeah, we
Next
definitely have to get one together, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I had to laugh. 2 weeks ago, like I said earlier, we were driving out west and we were passing through Santa Fe, New Mexico, at an intersection right there in town. Paul knows what the Gore area is, where the on-ramp comes on the highway. The whole Gore area was nothing but a prairie dog patch. I mean, you could pull over right there and shoot them all. I had to laugh.
I did get Powder Valley is running. Hang on, let me see if I got the email. Paul, you probably got the same email, or anybody that has ordered from Powder Valley.
$199, no hazmat or no
Yep.
shipping. No shipping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Free shipping on orders over $199
Yeah.
and hazmat fees. That's free shipping on hazmat too. So,
Yep.
which is hard to beat, especially if you can.
And $199 isn't even an 8-pound keg of powder. So
No, yeah,
you know. So if you go that way, you know, if they got what you want, heck, order it.
that's not a bad. That's a good one there, Paul. Yeah, if you can ship it to a local store. So
Cabela's Bass Pro, if they have it on the website, if you ship it to the local store, there's no hazmat fee.
yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, they'll just throw it in their inner truck system. So,
Yep.
yeah, I was at Cabela's, or technically it's Bass Pro now out here.
Yeah,
They were a little high. They were wanting like $480 for an 8-pound jug of 3031, which seemed a little high to me.
is that official? Is Bass Pro dropping the Cabela's name?
By 2025, all the Cabela's will be renamed to Bass Pro.
Okay.
But
There is no confirmation that the Cabela's products will be rebranded. So anything that's Cabela's branded right now in the stores, there's no guarantee that that'll get rebranded as of yet.
yeah,
So-
remember when we were down in Springfield? That big Bass Pro there, they were selling used guns.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's something that carried over or
Yeah.
jumped over to the Bass Pro line as well. So
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah, probably all on location,
The
really.
problem is Bass Pro's lawyers don't want to sell guns, so they make it very, 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 very hard for us to sell guns. Like they make up their own stupid ass rules besides what the ATF has going. To give you an example, anybody who's ever tried to buy any sort of black powder off of Cabela's or Bass Pro website, guess what? You can't ship it to your house. You have to have it shipped to a store, and then you have to go in and fill out their stupid. It's basically their own in-house version of a 4473, where you have to say that, oh, I'm not going to be illegal. I'm not going to give this to somebody that blah blah blah. Even though black powders aren't firearms and felons can own them. Welcome to the wonderful world of Bass Pro Incorporated and their lawyers.
Mike, we got a comment at 9:25 p.m. Do you want to take a look at it?
From EP?
Yep. Spam or no?
No,
Mm-mm.
he's been on the show.
Okay.
He makes
What?
the
Annealers.
annealers.
Okay. My bad.
Which I need to get a hold of. I need to get my annealer ordered here soon.
There you go.
Thank you for the heads up.
So, yeah, Todd from EP Integration says, "What up, my friends? Just a heads up, we now have Starline brass in stock with more and more coming as back orders come in stock and shipped to us. In stock currently 300 Blackout, 6.5 Creed, small.
I think he means rifle primers.
Yeah, small rifle primer, 5.56 and 223.
Yeah, it'd be an R because the R is right above F. So
Yep. So he
Yeah.
fat fingered an F. So, but yeah, like Ken said, can take Cabela's Bass Pro forever to get it to your store too if you order it to the store. So just be forewarned. Sometimes it's not always fast. But
Plus, some Cabela's you have to go in and ask them where their powder is because they don't display it.
yeah,
typically it's behind the gun counter now.
Right. Went in there, said he got it in store, went in, looked. Hey, where's your powder? Oh, we keep it in the back. Oh, okay.
it's like how am I supposed to buy anything?
So, code F Class John will take a bunch of money off the already marked down price too from EP Integration. So there you go.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Todd. So, wow. A lot of people have had a lot of bad storms. We've had some rolled through earlier today. Thankfully, nobody lost power. But what are you going to do if you lose power? Well, if you went to 4patriots.com and you got one of their generators using code FRN, you save 10% off that puppy. You're all set. They've got a solar power generator set up. The nicest thing about this solar powered generator isn't the fact that you don't need to worry about gas. The nicest thing is you can use it indoors without a problem. So you can power your fridge, your microwave, or your kids' iPads so they don't go screaming nuts. Or you can charge your taser so the kids can stay under control. Or, run your CPAP, keep your medicine refrigerated, whatever the case may be. They've also got survival food. They've got little handheld solar chargers for your cell phones, portable stuff. They actually have a cooler that's designed to work in pair with their solar chargers or solar generators. They've got all sorts of stuff. They're usually running, they're running deals. Right now, you spend $400, you get some free survival food, and the food's actually edible and filling. So, check them out. 4patriots.com.
Don't forget the discount code.
FRN. Now, the catch with the 4patriots.com discount code of FRN, it's only good once. So keep that in mind, gang. Jim.
Sir.
You got something to show the peoples? Since
Sure.
It's not on your hat.
No, it's not on my hat. This is for local gun club.
Stanley Gun Club.
Now he froze on us.
What you got there, Jim?
I've got the patch of the month from Patriot Patch Company, and it's for a picture of the Statue of Liberty. I see a flintlock, or I see a slide action. I see a suppressor. I see Lady Liberty herself. I see American flag mask. I see another AR carbine. I can't make out what the rest of it is.
Looks like a
There's a suppressor
249 and a scar.
and there's a suppressor on the 1911 right there above my knuckle.
That's not a black powder, by the way, Jim.
Hmm?
That's a hammered break action shotgun.
Ooh! I like that. Nice defense gun.
So,
Oh God, where'd that guy come from?
right? What the hell? Who let him on the screen? So Jim's got the vinyl. This is what the patch looks like.
I actually have the patch on my hat.
So he's got the patch on his hat somewhere. You also, as a patch of the month member, you get Ryan's rough drawing. It's kind of cool to see what he changed after he designed it in the first place. Usually it's not a lot. So, but they make all sorts of cool patches, all sorts of other cool stuff too. So, oh, sweet. Found Jim got some primers down under.
Ryan usually hides his signature in here somewhere in the photo somewhere.
Yep. So it's on the bottom of the drawing, bottom right. So, but yeah, check out stuff from Ryan and Jake. They've got the patches. They got all sorts of different patches going on. The patch of the month. If you want to be a patch of the month member and help the podcast, you can do that through Patreon. Otherwise, there's other options for helping out the podcast if you want to be a Patreon. Otherwise, if you just want to be a patch of the month member, you can sign up over at patriotpatch.co for that. So, third thing, we have merchandise. We have tumblers and shirts. So, a couple of different options for shirts. There's 3 colors. There's gray, green, and white. You can get just the Reloading Podcast logo on the front, or you can get the Reloading Podcast logo on the front and Anatomy of a Pew on the back. So,
Pew pew. Getting late. I'm getting goofy.
Yeah. So, the funny thing about the Anatomy of a Pew is I didn't write it, but it's just like I would. So the primer is a brass button. The actual brass is a metal holdy thing. The powder is magical fire dust, and then the projectile is the freedom seed. So, so that's the t-shirts, anywhere from small to 5X. And then we've got the tumblers. It comes in the powder, like I have. It also comes in brass and the American flag. And then we have can koozies. So helps out the podcast. So, but yeah, so we've got our own merch, and the link for that is in the show notes, and also on the Firearms Radio Network Reloading Podcast homepage. So, where does one get the t-shirts? So the actual website is southerngalscrafts.myshopify.com /collections/reloading-podcast-merch. So anyway,
That's a mouthful.
yes, it is. Sounds like our first frickin' web address when we first started out the friggin' podcast. So, I just posted the link, so in the chat. But that's about it for now.
That was posted at 129.36 and
So, but like I said, it's also in the show notes, and also on the Reloading Podcast homepage on Firearms Radio Network. So, otherwise, you can just email me. Dang it, where's Oder when I need him? I was hoping Oder Sigerson would be joining us this evening, because I need to get his address to find out if we can ship, because he asked about overseas. So, but I haven't seen him in the chat. So,
Well, didn't you answer him an email?
no, he didn't send me an email. So,
Okay.
nope, he did not send me any emails. So,
Okay.
but anyway, so that about wraps it up for this evening, gang. So, anybody got any shout outs?
No, we're good.
All right.
Dubé, if you're out there, have a good evening, son. Appreciate you coming in and minding the show with us.
Indeed. And on that note, keep your brass shiny.
We have to talk about something else first.
What?
Our prevention before you go.
Which prevention?
Suicide.
Oh, we talk about that after. Everybody says their tagline and then I say it.
All right. Change it.
That's the way we've been doing it for, I don't know, 250
About a year and a half,
episodes,
2
Paul.
years.
I'm getting old then. Okay.
Yeah, you are. It's okay. Heck, I can't even remember what I did yesterday, so it's all good. Anyway, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Mill Serp short bus.
Teach them to shoot and reload when they're young.
Despite what your mama told you, violence does solve problems.
2A forever. Support the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. It's part of the Bill of Rights.
And as GGW Outdoor suggested, make sure you use some pledge. If you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Reach out, get some help. We want you here. We need you here. Suicide doesn't solve anything. It just makes it worse for the people you leave behind. Even if you don't think there's people you're leaving behind, there is. And now you've just screwed them up even worse. So it's better for everyone, especially you, because you have something here. There's somebody here for you to be here for, and there's a purpose for you to be here. You may not know what it is. You may not figure it out until later. But you're supposed to be here for a reason. So make sure you reach out and get some help. So,
I have a quick comment.
yes.
GGW Outdoors. Believe it or not, there is a timeout button on with your name on it. Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for coming, guys.